Stop scrolling for a second, because the cheapest electric cars in America for 2026 are not the boring little budget boxes people still imagine. The new budget EV game is way more interesting now. Nissan has completely reworked the Leaf. Chevrolet brought back the Bolt as its tiniest and most affordable EV, and even compact SUVs are sliding into the price range that used to belong to regular gas cars. Ilmons Plusto. Let's start with the biggest surprise, the 2026 Nissan Leaf. This thing used to be the sensible, slightly frumpy EV everybody respected, but nobody really lusted after. Now, it's been redesigned into something that feels a lot more like a stylish little SUV. And that change alone makes it look way more modern on the road. It starts at $31,485, brings a 7.5 kilowatt-hour battery and 214 horsepower, and the higher trims step up to dual 14 3-inch displays, which is a huge jump in how premium the cabin feels. Nissan also gives it the most common charger type now, so living with it should be easier than before. Even better, cargo space jumps from 30 cubic feet to 55.5 with the seats folded, so this is not just a prettier Leaf, it is actually more useful too. Then there is the Chevrolet Bolt, and honestly, this is the kind of car that makes budget shoppers smile. Chevy's bringing it back after a brief break, and it comes in as the brand's smallest and most affordable EV at just $28,995. That is the kind of starting price that instantly changes the conversation, because now the cheapest EV in America is not some stripped-out science project. It is a real mainstream option for people who just want to get into electric driving without wrecking their budget. Car and driver. If you want something that feels more like a real family vehicle, the 2026 Chevrolet Equinox EV is the smart middle ground. It starts at $36,795, and the big story here is how much car you get for the money. The front-wheel drive version makes 220 horsepower, while the dual-motor AWD model jumps to 300 horsepower and feels much quicker. Chevy says the range can reach up to 319 miles in FWD form, and the cabin gets a huge 7-inch center touchscreen with an 1.1-inch digital gauge display, plus built-in Google Maps and Spotify. That means this one is not just cheap by EV standards, it is also loaded enough to feel genuinely modern every time you get inside. For city drivers, the 2026 Fiat 500e plays a totally different game. It is not trying to be the biggest, or the fastest, or the longest range EV on the block. It starts at about $35,700, gets 141 miles of EPA range, and wins by looking stylish, compact, and easy to live with in tight streets and crowded parking lots. This is the kind of EV that feels fun the second you see it, and it is the one you picture zipping through downtown traffic, not crossing the country. And if you want the most adventurous-looking bargain in the conversation, the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 5 deserves a shout-out. Even though it sits a little above the absolute cheapest group, Hyundai dropped the base price to $36,600, cut prices across most of the lineup, and even the off-road-oriented XRT trim starts at $47,875 after a big price reduction. That matters because it shows where the market is going. Affordable EVs are getting better looking, better equipped, and more personality-filled instead of just being cheap cars that happen to be electric. So that is the real 2026 Electron Volt story in America. The Leaf became the stylish value pick, the Bolt returned as the true budget king, the Equinox EV turned into the smart tech-filled family choice, and the 500e stayed the cool little city car. Cheap electric cars are finally starting to feel like good cars first, and budget cars second, and that is exactly why people are paying attention.